Is this going to be the beginning of a major hype for Bitcoin that could push the price well above the 50,000 US dollar level? Because yes, Bitcoin broke out from the symmetrical triangle and we reached the price target of 45,800 US dollars. But is this hype going to continue, or are we going to see a major pullback? Because yes, in a few days we're going to see the approval of a Bitcoin spot ETF. Or are we going to see a denial or even a major market manipulation? We're going to look at the charts, the news and also the facts to find out what we could expect. But yes, we're also going to look at some altcoins that didn't see a pump towards the upside, and yes, I'm going to give you 4 coins that could expect the major pump towards the upside. So if you want to find out more, watch the video until the end, smash up the like button and subscribe, and now let's directly start with today's content. So welcome back to B for Crypto, and yes, the year started absolutely bullish for the overall crypto market. We can see on the daily bubbles that we had a major push towards the upside for 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝘁𝗲𝗱, GRT, AUD, Rune, Beam, Say, Bonk, and all of these major coins, Injective, and also Solana, which is up 10.4%. So yes, this looks extremely good for the overall crypto market, but we're going to look at Bitcoin to find out what we could expect. Because yes, we're going to see the Bitcoin spot ETF approval, because we can see that all these institutions have applied for the Bitcoin spot ETF. So if we're going to get this approval, and yes, we could expect a response between the 5th of January and also the 10th of January. So are we going to see this godlike candle that could break the 50,000 US dollar level? I'm not sure, guys, because I think we're going to see a further delay when it comes to the Bitcoin spot ETF. And why? We need to read between the lines. I could expect some massive manipulation, because if we go over to the next news, BlackRock names JP Morgan as authorized participant for spot Bitcoin ETF despite Jamie Dimon wanting to ban crypto. So let's go down and read what this means. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, has named JP Morgan as a lead authorized participant for its Bitcoin spot ETF exchange traded fund. This followed JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon stating in a congressional hearing that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are used primarily for criminal purposes, and that he would close down crypto if he would be the government. So yes, guys, we can see the market manipulation from these banksters, or even called fraudsters, who are trying to manipulate the markets in the beginning of December, where Jamie Dimon said that he would ban crypto, and a few weeks later we're seeing that they're actually working hand in hand with BlackRock. This is market manipulation, guys, and yes, this is what we could expect, because BlackRock, being the biggest institution out there, they actually own the whole media companies, because they have shares in all the major companies around the world. So we're seeing this major manipulation to get you out of the market so that they can buy even more, and that's why I could expect that we're going to see this denial, or not a denial, just a delay in the Bitcoin spot ETF. Because yes, maybe we're going to see that the SEC comes out and says that they have to first take care of Michael Saylor, because yes, we all know that Michael Saylor from MicroStrategy bought another 14,620 Bitcoin for 615 million. The company now holds 189,000 Bitcoin worth 8 billion. So yes, we could expect that the SEC is going to come out and say they're first going to delay the Bitcoin spot ETF due to MicroStrategy that actually owns like an ETF, which is not a direct ETF, but the company MicroStrategy is holding all of these Bitcoin. So you can invest in MicroStrategy, and you are also exposed to the price movement of Bitcoin, and this is indirectly a Bitcoin spot ETF, because Michael Saylor holds all of these Bitcoin as a spot position on his balance sheet. So yes, maybe this could be one of the reasons why we're going to see this delay. But overall, guys, we can see that the market is being manipulated by BlackRock and also JP Morgan. So guys, yes, we always have to read in between the lines, and we could see that JP Morgan tried to push out all the small investors so that they could load up the boat. So yes, always be careful what you're going to read in the news. So let's go directly over to the charts, and we're going to go to the daily chart first, because yes, we can see this breakout from the symmetrical triangle. And if we're going to look at the price target, which is all the way up here at the 48,200 US dollars. So yes, I could expect this massive hype and this continuation for Bitcoin all the way to the 48,000 US dollars, or even to the 50,000 US dollar level, because yes, we're getting this hype from the spot Bitcoin ETF. So we could see all these buyers are entering the market, and they want to front run this major news. But what is going to happen if we're going to get this delay exactly here on the 10th of January? Because yes, if we're going to look at the dates, then we could expect within the next week that we're going to get some kind of a response from the SEC. Are we going to get this delay or even this approval? This could mean a major market manipulation. But before we're going to go over to the weekly chart, guys, let's go down on the lower time frames on the 4-hour chart. So yes, on the 4-hour chart we can perfectly see that Bitcoin had this major resistance and that we were trading within this range. What I also told you, that we are forming the symmetrical triangle, but Bitcoin is still trading within this range, and this line perfectly held. We saw this perfect bounce from this upward sloping trend and this perfect breakout exactly here, and we saw this pump all the way up into this major resistance. We're going to look at these levels on the weekly chart, but first of all we're going to find out what would be a healthy retracement after this massive breakout towards the upside. Obviously guys, I could expect that this pump could go all the way up above the 50,000 US dollar level, but we're going to look at that on the weekly chart. First of all, we're going to look at the Fibonacci retracement levels from the previous low all the way to the high. And now we can see perfectly the 23.6 Fibonacci retracement level and also the 38.2 is exactly at this major range high. So yes, if we're going to get this resistance exactly at this major resistance point, we could expect that the 23.6 and also the 38.2 is going to be a healthy retracement and a retest of the previous resistance, which will now act as support, and we could expect this continuation even higher. But guys, don't get me wrong, we could also see this continuation exactly from these levels, because all this hype from the Bitcoin spot ETF could easily push the price of Bitcoin well above the 50,000 US dollar level. And on the weekly chart, we're going to look at this possibility because yes, we are in this major resistance zone exactly here. And that is also the level that we just saw on the 4-hour chart, where Bitcoin is getting this rejection at the moment. But if we're going to break through this level, guys, we can see that the next major level is going to be the 48,200 US dollars and ultimately the 78.6, which is exactly the 50,000 US dollar level. So this could be a price target if we're going to get this major hype for the Bitcoin spot ETF that could pump all the way up. And if we're going to get this denial, guys, we have to look at the worst case scenario, and the worst case scenario is ultimately going to be our first price target, the 61.8, this retracement level ultimately from the swing high at the 69,000 US dollar level all the way back down to the low round about the 15,000 US dollar level, and this would be the exact 61.8 level, which also perfectly lines up with a 13 EMA on the weekly chart. But if we're going to break this level towards the downside, we're going to see some major market manipulation, because keep in mind, if the institutions miss the boat, they bring the boat back. So we could ultimately see my worst price target is going to be the 31,000 US dollar level, this major zone exactly here, where we saw this major consolidation before we had this massive breakout. So yes, this would ultimately be the line in the sand, and this also lines up perfectly with the 100 moving average, the yellow line, and also the 50 moving average on the weekly chart being exactly in the zone. And we also have this rising trend line, which comes all the way from the level of the 21,000 US dollars, where we got this massive breakout towards the upside, breaking the 20,000 US dollar level. So this is ultimately going to be my worst case scenario for Bitcoin, and that we could expect before the halving. But are we going to be sure that it's going to play out exactly like that, and we're going to see this dumb? No guys, we could also expect that Bitcoin is just going to break the 50,000 US dollar level, and we're going to see the approval of a Bitcoin spot ETF, and we could even pump as high as the 60,000 US dollars, being the 88.6. And if we're going to zoom out, yes guys, this is going to be this major resistance zone from the previous all-time high exactly here, and I could expect that then we could expect a reversal all the way back down to retest previous resistance, which will now act as support, and that we're going to see this continuation and breaking the previous all-time high after the Bitcoin halving in March. So this would be a great opportunity to dollar cost average into Bitcoin, and keep in mind, dollar cost average is the best strategy, so don't wait for any major pullbacks. Guys, we could also see the pullback come way after, and we're going to get this high of $60,000 first. But guys, should you invest all your investment capital into Bitcoin? No guys, at the moment I think we have a greater possibility of maximizing our profits in altcoins. So we're going to look at some altcoins that didn't see this major push towards the upside. But first of all, we're going to look at my favorite altcoin, being Solana. And yes, I told you to buy Solana exactly at the 17 US dollar level, and we saw this massive breakout towards the upside, and we came all the way to the 78.6. But are we going to get this retracement, or could we expect this follow through? Yes guys, I expected we're going to see this follow through, and that Solana could come all the way up to the 88.6, being the 180 US dollar level, and maybe even all the way to the 200 US dollar level before we're going to get this next major retracement. Because yes, we saw this consolidation exactly exactly here, and we found support well above this major level of $100 for Solana. So this could be an indication that we could see this follow through and this major pump, and this would mean for the price movement of Solana that we're going to get this pump all the way to the $200 level, and this would ultimately be a pump of round about 85%. So yes guys, dollar cost average into Solana, because I expect some major price movements for Solana, breaking even the $1,000 level. And guys, remember, if you want to trade all of these moves, go down in the video description below where you find all of the links to sign up to BITFLEX. When you deposit $100, you get $10 absolutely free, and you can also trade on Bybit, which is my favorite exchange, and also OKX. And if you don't like any KYC, sign up to MEXC. And also make sure to be in my free Telegram group, where you can also sign up to my paid signal group, where I post all of my spot and also future trades. So with that being said, let's go over to the next coin where I could expect a massive pump towards the upside, and that is FTM. Yes, we've been talking about FTM because we are forming this massive W on the weekly chart, and we didn't see this follow through all the way up to the previous bull market support exactly at the levels of $1.15. So we could expect this, yes, massive pump towards the upside, and this is a good entry for a spot buy exactly now, because this would mean, guys, if we're going to see the overall crypto market, especially Bitcoin, getting this massive pump towards the upside, we could expect that some of the altcoins are going to get this major push towards the upside. But what is going to happen if we're going to see this delay in the Bitcoin spot ETF? Guys, I could expect that a lot of people are going to diversify their Bitcoin holdings into altcoins, and this ultimately could mean that yes, we're also going to get this bullish move, maybe a short-term correction due to the news hitting the markets that we're going to see a further delay in the Bitcoin spot ETF. But ultimately, this would lead to the altcoins seeing a major altcoin season towards the upside. And yes, Phantom is a good buy exactly here, because if we're going to look at the price move from the exact price all the way up to the next price target, this major resistance at $1.15, we could expect this pump of 126% in the immediate short term within the next few weeks. So this would be a perfect buy. And talking about a perfect buy, let's go over to the next coin, which is GRT. And yes, we also have been talking about GRT exactly in these levels, and we've seen this pump from the previous video of 14%. So if you would have bought GRT exactly here, you would have been in some profits of around about 14%, but we're going to look at the price target that we could reach, and ultimately, yes, like for Phantom, this is the previous bull market support round about the levels of 32 cents all the way up to the levels of 36 cents. So this would mean this would be a pump of 80%. So yes, this would be a perfect buy, because we can also see this massive W and this continuation even higher to the next major zone. So yes, ultimately buying on the spot market or opening a long trade with a low leverage would be a perfect area to profit on GRT. So yes, if you want to profit from all of these moves, go down in the video description below and sign up to Bybit, and also join my free Telegram group. But guys, before we're going to end this video, if you like this update, smash up the like button and subscribe, and let's go over to Avax, because yes, we've been talking about Avax, and we saw this pump all the way up, all the way to the $49,000 level. We nearly reached the $50,000 level, but once again we can see that the previous bull market support is all the way at the levels of around about $66 for Avax. So we could expect this pump from the price movement all the way up to $66 or 56%. And yes, we can see that we had this perfect retest of this major support zone, which was previous resistance exactly here and also here. But if we're going to look at the weekly chart, guys, we can see that we had this major resistance exactly here, and we saw the major next level, and we always saw these fast moves towards the upside and also this fast move towards downside. So we could expect that yes, we're going to see a fast move towards the upside, and that we could fill this gap quite easily. So yes, if you want to hold Avax, we could see a major push towards the upside and another 50% before we're going to see the next major retracement to load up even more on Avax. So yes, ultimately this is going to be a great level to enter a spot buy or even a leverage trade with a price target of all the way at $66. But guys, let's go back over to Bitcoin, because yes, at the moment we are seeing that we're getting this major resistance on the 4-hour chart exactly at this major resistance box. But ultimately guys, I could expect that we're going to see this retest of the 23.6 form this W and see this continuation even higher until we're going to get this delay or even the improvement of a Bitcoin spot ETF. And if you always want to stay up to date, make sure to be in my free Telegram group, smash up the like button and subscribe, and make sure to be for crypto, and we see each other in the next video.